Welcome back to the Red Combat. It's your boy Chesco. I'm here with Matthew today. We just finished watching UFC 308 Holloway. I'm sorry, Topuria versus Holloway. If you can see it on our faces, we're a little depressed. We didn't get the we didn't get the results that we wanted, but you know we'll march on. We'll figure out a way to live.
We'll be all right.
We'll be all right.
It's a it's a turning of the tides. I think that's a lot of what.
That's what this night was, huh?
There's a lot of turning of the tides with from the beginning. I won't even mention the fights as we go through them. I'll get my proofs.
So let's go through the first one. The first one was Shower Bullet. That's what they call him. One-eyed guy versus what's his name? It's not pulling up here. Let me see. Sorry for technical difficulties. What was his name again? Shower Bullet versus Petrosian, right?
Yeah. So Magomedov versus
Magomedov versus Petrosian.
And Petrosian, I've been on the watch for him. He's definitely I think, for lack of a better term, a gatekeeper for the UFC in that particular division. And big strong guy, great kickboxer, and
9-4-0. So I think what you described is the right way. Gatekeeper. Going through his record real quick, he lost. Oh no.
I would imagine all decision.
He lost his last fight, so that's not a great sell immediately. But he was looking good. I think he won the first round. He hurt him, and I know we got here like in the middle of that fight. He hurt him in the beginning of that. He hurt him in the beginning of the round, like the first minute of the first round. He hurt him pretty bad.
I think he's a very responsible striker. He, if I'm not mistaken, has a kickboxing background. So he's going to be a responsible kickboxer and be setting stuff up. But it's going to be a lot more traditional stuff, a lot more up the middle, straight, regular roundhouses and stuff like that. And to that point, gets caught with something very, very unusual, very unique, and something that is always kind of available there, but people don't generally take that extra split-second risk to
They tell me, I've heard plenty of times that the reason you know who Paul Felder is, right?
Yeah.
I think Paul Felder broke his wrist twice.
On the spinning back. The point being is people will still throw them. It's a big risk to show your back, which is in the spin, whether it be a spinning back fist or a spinning back elbow.
Yeah.
Which from a Muay Thai background, I like spinning back elbows, but you got to be safe with your hand placement and how you're blocking and stuff. And then to do a double spinning, which,
that was crazy.
Spoiler alert.
That was crazy.
It was a spinning double back fist. So it throws one back fist and then comes around with the other side and lands the second one off of Petrosian's dip. He dips hard to, I believe, the left side and gets caught with the left hand on a spinning back fist, double spinning back fist. So that being said, from somebody who's generally very striking responsible, I think he made kind of an error there and got caught with that second back fist.
No doubt. Because what you call it, without a doubt, that double spinning back fist thing, I've never seen it, to be honest with you. Never.
I've done it on pads before. It's something that I think is always available, but again, you're already taking a risk doing one spin and then to spin back the other way. I think, it is a very risky move, and tonight it paid off, and tomorrow it could be your knockout. So it's one of those things that can really make or break a career, and tonight it paid off for Magomedov. So
it absolutely did, no lie, it absolutely did, because I did not expect it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not expect it.
I don't think it's ever happened, so nobody would ever expect that. You have DC freaking out. You have I think Felder's there tonight. They were all, really impressed by that, and I'm sure for the same reason is that it's a high risk maneuver, but if it pays off, it pays off with your win, with your knockout, and with your star points. So he got all of those tonight.
Absolutely, and what you call it? Not only that, but I'm a play party pooper here a little bit. I don't know how good this Shower Bullet kid is. Because I just went. They're kind of protecting him now. I don't know if it's on purpose. But what you call it? I want to see him against better competition.
Well, the thing I would say is that if he is a striker, which he called himself the best striker in the UFC. Obviously, that's maybe a stretch, but even saying that, you're identifying yourself as a striker. Putting him with Petrosian is that's not protecting him. He's at high level. It's like and what is his name? I'm probably not gonna think of it right now. But there's a couple of these fighters they're kickboxing background guys that in MMA they're not top they're not top fighters in MMA, but their kickboxing is very, very dangerous. Oh, Jacoby. Mm-hmm. Justin Jacoby Jacoby nonetheless.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of those fighters that he might be top 10. I don't think he is though, but I mean, he's not a top 5 fighter. Let's put it that way in the UFC, but his striking probably is top 5. It's just there's so many things that go into MMA that if you don't have that strong wrestling background, as we saw with Chimaev, like just a different level to where it's like if you can't neutralize that, you're going to be in major issues. So I think some of these kickboxers if you are a striker, they're not giving you easy fights. I mean, they're giving you fights that you can flourish in. They're not throwing you to the Chimaevs and the Valishvilis and stuff like that.
I have the rankings here. I'm not saying he called out Adesanya.
I mean, it's wishful thinking, but he also knows he's not going to get Adesanya.
Also, Adesanya's not in that division. So, yeah.
What division are they?
This is light heavyweight, right? This is, I think.
Magomedov's light heavyweight?
Yes, I think this is light heavyweight, if I saw this correctly.
Yeah, sounds about right. Petrosian's light heavyweight.
Yeah, Armin Petrosian, light heavyweight. Or middleweight. What did they fight at today? Let me see. Let's go to UFC.
It might be middleweights.
It's right here.
Because he didn't say Pereira.
It's middleweight.
Okay, well there you go. So it's same weight class.
He did
I mean, they're not going to give him Adesanya, but I mean, I don't see. Is he ranked?
No.
So yeah, I mean that's obviously a far-fetched
call
out, but
so neither is Petrosian. Now, I'm not saying fight Adesanya, right? You're not gonna get Adesanya. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing him against Chris Curtis. I wouldn't mind seeing him against Michel Pereira.
That'd be fantastic, Pereira.
If those two, to me, because after that we're talking about.
But see, now you got like a.
I don't want to go beyond that.
But
Michel Pereira and Chris Curtis, I think, are perfect tests because those guys are definitely top 15, right? They're not championship level yet. Michel Pereira was looking like it, but he just lost. But without a doubt, I think that's a good test to see what he's really about. Because those guys are top 15 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple things that are available. You coming into middleweight. I mean, and why do they got to be strikers? Yeah. Give them a wrestler. Come on, you want to fight? Let's fight.
It's true.
You got anybody?
Well, there's Jack Hermanson. So Jack Hermanson's ranked 11th. I think that's a little high.
You don't even have to give him a gatekeeper. Give him somebody who's a real prospect. You got the gatekeepers that will never be in the championship.
But look, this division. But
it's a pretty stacked division. There's
this division's a little bit of trouble. A little bit. Why?
Not you don't have the names.
You have names. The thing is that, for example,
the names are on the top.
The names are at the top, and two of them seem like they're
on their way down,
on their way out. Right? I don't want to It's not an insult by any means, right? We're talking about Robert Whittaker and Israel Adesanya. It seems like two legends are on their way out. Right? They're in their last legs. Uh, then we're talking about Sean Strickland, Duplessis, and Chimaev, right? Uh, Caio Borrallo, the
Yeah.
fighting nerd, whatever.
Burao.
Uh-huh. He seems like a possible prospect, but it seems like it right
That's
now.
a little bit too high of a jump, though.
Exactly. I think that's too high of a jump. Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, I guess that to me.
It just depends on what the UFC sees in this guy. Maybe with this highlight reel finish, maybe they're gonna jump him up a lot, and it's probably not good for his career. But it could also be great because he might be everything that.
But we may never be able to find out because of one thing, which is, he can't fight in the U.S. He has one eye. He has one eye.
For a fight though, they'll make it happen.
It can't be in the U.S.
He's just not going to have the same amount of quantity. That's the thing. He's not going to have. He's not going to finish his career with the same amount of fights as somebody with full faculties. But he obviously was able to throw a punch on one side and turn his back and see with that one eye that he could land.
No, without a doubt, you can fight with one eye. I don't know why the commissions won't allow it to happen. Like Bisbing did it by cheating, but did it.
Yeah.
What you got? You can definitely fight.
Strange way of cheating. I have less than this
guy,
and I have to pretend I have.
It's true. I have one eye and I'm the cheater for some reason.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, but because his next fight's not gonna be a tough one. That's for sure. Because he's gonna be fighting some. They say that if he did good in this fight, which he did, he may want to fight in Macau, which is in November.
Who are we talking about?
Around Shara Bullet.
Okay.
So, and again, he can only fight in those places. He can only fight in Abu Dhabi. He can only fight in Asia, things like that, because of his one eye. So, they're going to go over to Macau in a few weeks, so he's probably going to fight there. And then he won't fight again for a while. Because, again, he can only fight in exotic places. So we're gonna see more of him. Hopefully Chris Curtis.
I've seen him fight a lot recently, though, so I don't think he's that limited. I think they're gonna be going to the Middle East probably every third pay-per-view will be in the Middle East.
I don't know if this counts, but Duplessis Strickland seems like it may be in South Africa, so he could probably be on that card.
Yeah, so I don't think they have any issues. They're opening up the world for MMA all over the place. So they're way ahead of it. Dana's working very close side by side with different Middle Eastern head guys, I guess, if you will, for lack of a better term. So they're going to be getting into boxing and stuff like that. So they're definitely expanding right now.
We'll see. Next fight was Dan Ige versus Leroy Murphy.
Yeah.
Very good fight.
Yeah, it was definitely a.
We started watching it in the middle of maybe 1 minute into the first round because we were doing some TV arrangements. We got 17 TVs in the studio, so we were choosing which one we wanted to watch it in, and we were making some arrangements. But it seemed like Leroy Murphy was gonna have the wrestling advantage. He probably did have it at the end. But
I think they were close on basically every action.
Very even fight.
Very even fight. I think it went down to decision, which was a strangely
do you agree with
unanimous decision?
That was strange.
You can be unanimous and be unanimous by one strike on everybody's. It's just, to me, it's so strange to all see the same fight. In my mind, I had Ige up by a hair. So for nobody to see Ige up by a hair, to me, is a little out there. But
look, this is my
on that note, I don't think they were necessarily wrong by any means. I just think that
I was gonna say that
it's just strange that they were all.
This is my take. I don't think it's a robbery in any way. I don't think Ige was robbed. However, I had Ige winning. The first round, Ige hurts Leroy Murphy, right? Leroy Murphy does recover a little bit, turns position. So I don't see anybody giving that round to Leroy Murphy. I don't see how anybody does that. But okay, so Ige wins round one. Murphy definitely wins round two.
Definitely two.
Wrestled him. I think had a triangle there. Not really just kind of like basing it, not trying to finish it. But he definitely had a position. He definitely won the round two. Dan Ige controls about 3 minutes. Controls about 3 minutes of um of position in round three. And then Leroy Murphy turns it for about a minute maybe, and then it's disputed the other minute.
Yeah, I think the striking. Maybe you got a couple extra punches on that one. I'd have to look at the numbers and then compare it to the actual fight because obviously if you're disputing what judges are calling, then you need to compare it to the actual reality. Uh, you know, Similarly, like you were saying that they had Roundtree up on the scorecards against Pereira. I'm like, I don't feel like he was really landing on Pereira as much as it appeared because Pereira was getting his head out of the way. He was not really there for the damage that it seemed like he was, just because he was comfortable with the strikes coming. So he's not moving out of the way. He's not trying to disengage. He's staying engaged. So to have him up, in my opinion, was probably not accurate. But that's neither here nor there. But
yeah,
talking about this fight, I feel like you're.
Who did you have?
I had Ige by a hair.
Me too. And that's the thing. The fact that nobody had Ige was like I said, I don't think it was a robbery by any means because that third round, we said it here while we were watching. Even though Ige had control for a lot of it, definitely had control for more amount of time that Murphy had control. He had literally to no damage during the time he had that control. Then Murphy had very little damage, but it had damage. So if you give that round to Murphy, I have no problem with it. But the fact that nobody gave it to Ige was where you're like, I don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. So it's kind of it goes down to what they're scoring and how they're scoring it. It seems like these particular judges and this on this event did not really value ground control. And it seems like certain judges value ground control too much, and then you probably have someone kind of on the in between.
The scoring criteria is number one is damage, right?
It is, but think about it. So, like, say Murphy got a cut on Ige, I think early on. So, are you going to score that cut for round 2 and 3, or just round 1?
No, just for when it happened.
Exactly. So that being said, I feel like they could say, look at his face and look at his face. It's like, yeah, he did that in round 1, though. Like,
no, I don't think it's by looking at the face. It's by the damage they implemented, which was very little in round 3 from both sides.
They were striking pretty. They were striking pretty hard, but
I do agree that Murphy had more damage.
The amount of time in that round to deliver damage was lowered because Ige was in control on the wrestling portion of it. So that being said, I would say if it was that close because you only had a minute of striking to score, I think that's where that ground control does come in.
Yeah, because it was really basically Ige controlled them, tried to keep top position. Murphy eventually turns it and did throw a couple strikes when they were down there. When he reversed it, when they were down there, nothing that hurt Ige. At the end, there was like a sprint, right? The last 15 seconds, 20 seconds of the round, which I guess you could say Murphy got the better of it, but they were both going at it, so it was even. But yeah, you're Murphy. I feel bad for Dan Ige. This was a very sad day. I'm not gonna lie. and I was telling off camera, I was telling Matt, it was like, it's not that I have nothing against Leroy Murphy or Khamzat Chimaev or Ilia Topuria. It's just that these are guys that I don't want to say I grew up watching, but for the length amount of time I've been watching UFC, which has been a few years now, I know Dan Ige. I'm a fan of Dan Ige. And to see the fact that without a doubt Dan Ige is not going to be a champion, right? And Dan Ige right now he's ranked Then he is ranked, I think, 15th. If I'm not mistaken, let me check this out real quick.
Murphy just moved in.
And Murphy was ranked too, but I think let me see who's the featherweight. Featherweight Ilia Topuria. Then he gave 14th. Leroy Murphy was 12th. Um, that's to see the fact that that's kind of gatekeeper status, I guess, at the 14th, which he's not a bad fighter by any means. It's just he's just not a championship level fighter, which is cool. It's fine, no problem. However, it's sad to see that it's breeding on the wall now. But let's move on.
And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to heavyweight."
Yeah. So we'll move on to the Chimaev versus Whittaker fight. So to continue about what we were talking about, who's getting Duplessis next? Sorry, there's nobody else. Chimaev is getting Duplessis or Strickland, whoever wins, because it seems like that's the next fight: Strickland versus Duplessis in South Africa.
Wouldn't you want to see Chimaev, Alex?
No, absolutely not.
Alex is huge. It's hard to take down these big, tall guys that are good.
I feel like this guy could take down King Kong.
I honestly do too, but I am still fucking curious, man. Because you're talking about a brick of a human. Let's talk about the fight itself, which
not much to talk about.
Not much to talk about. It was a reaping.
It was a sad night. It was a sad night. Like
the Reaper got reaped. For lack of a better,
yeah, that guy you said
spelling.
It that way. Yeah, good job. Good job.
I thought about it. I really did. I was like, you know what? There's a perfect little plug right here, and I'm sorry, man. Whittaker. You are definitely in my top 5, no question of all time. I love Robert Whittaker, and I
got text messages from ET and Isaiah. They both say the same. What a sad day. It's so sad, man.
They're favorites. They're just people that we love, and we don't love them any less at this point. It just it sucks. You put your pride onto certain people, and Robert Whittaker is like he's a goat of the division, of class, of fighting skill and well-roundedness. But there are specialists at certain things. Hence the Alex Pereiras, even the Adesanyas and the. Obviously Chimaev and Nurmagomedov.
Father Time is undefeated, man, and I want to make this clear. It has nothing to do with Khamzat Chimaev. Like I'll probably feel this way about Khamzat Chimaev in 8 years, in 10 years, because eventually somebody's gonna beat him, right? Yeah. So, but right now it's like Robert Whittaker. I remember when I first got into UFC. The first pay-per-view that I really watched like that, and it was Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker 1. And from that day on, I followed Robert Whittaker, and I've been a huge Robert Whittaker fan. And today it seems like the end. And
well, I think people need to come up with the correct game plans for these guys, and I think they're having to adjust to the fact that you're getting somebody who's such a specialist at this particular thing, meaning wrestling, and then they are becoming proficient strikers that can bang with you standing up, and it just leaves too many things on the table. So it's like coming up with these game plans, which I think some people have done well at creating. You have, which this is not a great example because he's more of an offensive wrestler, being Dominic Cruz. But you also have, Sean O'Malley, I think, did pretty well with the takedown defense against Merab. However, Merab is just, again, another specialist that's not going to slow down. He's going to keep going forward. He gets your toe, you're going down, and then you stand back up, and he gets you back down. You block this move, and he switches to another move, and it's just this constant pressure. And I think it's so where Sean O'Malley was with that, I think was in the transitionary period of learning how to stop these guys. So I think, for a while, the UFC really went to strikers being the champions. and wrestlers are making their way back up, and they're coming in and they're being undeniable because there's a transitionary period of figuring out how do I, every fight starts standing up. So striking is, you have to know how to do it, and being a specialist at it can make you, the world champion that everybody fears. But on that same token,
I don't think we've ever seen a wrestler like this guy. Like, well, Khabib a little bit, but this guy just seems so explosive. And remember, he went up. My hope for Whittaker was like, Whittaker's a hell of a wrestler. He has been at 185 for years now. This guy is in his second 185 fight to an elite guy, and the first guy was Usman, who's really not a 185er. So,
but I don't agree with that because we had many wrestlers that were of that. You had Uriah Faber back in the day.
No, but Uriah Faber, no, they were dominant wrestlers. They were incredibly
did you watch Uriah Faber before the UFC? Because he wasn't in the UFC. He was in WEC, and he ran through people. And before that, he was king of the cage, running through people, and he made blood every fight. He is there. That's why you still see him everywhere, and everybody still treats him like a Hall of Famer because he is a Hall of Famer.
Oh, absolutely. No, Uriah Faber.
He beat everybody. Then he met Jose Aldo. When he met Jose Aldo, it turned into a striker being the demon of the weight class. And now
I understand.
Nobody.
But still, I'll push back that Uriah Faber was a great wrestler. However, it was a different style of wrestler. Like I don't mean that.
He was a double legger, and
But this guy shoots from the opposite side of the cage.
So did Uriah. I challenge you to go and look at some of these wrestlers because they do exist. It's just to see them at this weight class at this time that are so proficient at the other skills as well as the certain type of grind that I think that we're seeing now with Merab and
but Merab to me is not this type of wrestler either. To me,
Merab's not as he is very strong. That was exactly what Sean O'Malley said. I think Sean O'Malley was having probably great success in camp, but then you feel what somebody feels like, and you feel like, damn, that grip is, something different. The squeeze, the unrelenting squeeze, he doesn't let up after, he's been holding you for 30 seconds and you think his arm's going to tire. And maybe it is tired, but he does not let up. And you're just like, I can't get him to loosen so I can get an underhook, so I can push him down my, my
For example, Merab, the Jose Aldo fight is incredibly, it's telling. He didn't land one takedown. But he never stopped shooting, right? Versus Peter Yan, didn't he shoot 40-something times?
That's what I'm saying. That's the
he
new
landed
age
like
of
7.
wrestlers. I think that's the new age of wrestlers. It's not about necessarily.
But Chimaev is not like that.
Of the success of takedown. Well, today he was.
But she shot one and got it.
No,
but what I mean is,
Robert would stand back up, and he would immediately jump into the next move. And that's what I think that's where wrestlers are going today.
Oh no, yeah.
You're a wrestler. Like, say, I am coach talking to said wrestler. You're a wrestler. So why are we switching? From your wrestling to your striking against, say, a striker, like, say, today, Robert Whittaker. Great striker. His distance management's great. He's a good wrestler. Obviously not a great wrestler. But you see, what does he do? He's like, all right, take him down. He's going to get back up. When he gets back up, don't let him off. Take him right back down. And keep doing that. And, how long could he do that is the question. But he didn't have to prove that.
That's the difference, right? The difference.
He didn't have to prove that.
Merab could clearly do it the entire fight. Now, the thing is, this guy is trying to end you immediately. Merab has never ended anybody. But that's what I mean about the different style. This guy smothers you to death. What Merab is trying to do is drown you, right? Take you to the deep end and drown you where you have no more strength to keep fighting because he's not going to stop. And eventually, he did that to Cejudo and he did that to Yan and he just drowned him.
Chimaev fought at 170, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And the thing is, everybody says it. Can whoever's fighting, the proverbial he, whether it's Duplessis next or Strickland next, can they survive the storm? Because the storm is coming. He's gonna shoot from the other side of the cage. He's gonna shoot at you, and can you find a way to survive it for 2 rounds like Usman did. And Usman, and then everybody said, because Usman clearly won that 3rd round versus him. And we're like, if that was a 5-round fight on 7 days' notice, Usman would have won that fight. But it wasn't a 5-round fight. It was a 3-round fight. So a lot of people said that saved Chimaev. I don't know if it's true or not. However, that was what the consensus was. So it's like, okay, now you're getting with a true 185er, a walking Hall of Famer, somebody who we've seen against Yoel Romero, who is the one of the closest comparisons to you.
Yeah.
He did it twice versus Romero. Can you beat this guy? And he made it look easy. He made it look easy.
Well, I think also there was a in-fight injury, obviously caused by the
broke
squeeze.
His jaw, probably.
Yeah, broke it or dislocated it. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that could have been, he was grabbing it and he twisted and the jaw dislocated. So it's not necessarily the squeeze. Yeah. It's not because say if he got it around him in a less kinetic transition, maybe the jaw would have been fine and he was tucked and there was a minute left, something like that.
I think.
Yeah, so maybe he would have survived and we could have seen more of a fight. So it was easy to get the takedown, but he wasn't making any real damage.
He wasn't. You're right.
So that being said, I think that is something that's still on the table for how easy was the fight really. Those transitions were, but he exploded, and how would he have been around 2 and 3?
That's the question.
And then the jaw injury, obviously he didn't choke him. No. He hurt the jaw. Did he hurt it because of his squeeze, or did he hurt it because of the scramble? We don't know. Did he beat him? No question. Did he have any inkling of the inability to finish him? No. I mean, it could have gone exactly the same way for the rest of the fight. We have no idea. But I think we do have to leave a little room there for the fact that
round.
it was a jaw injury that was caused by action.
Yeah,
by action.
But
most people that I've never seen a jaw injury. Have you?
Well, yeah. You remember Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko? The first one, where she goes for that spinning back kick and Grasso jumps on the back. She never got it under the chin ever. But as soon as when Shevchenko taps, you see her jaw. It's like, and a lot of it was blood, so it looks bad, and she's pale skin.
Yeah.
So, but it looks terrible. It looks like what the hell, and because she was squeezing, right? So I don't think she broke her jaw that time, but she could have definitely. And obviously Chimaev squeezes way harder than.
Yeah, and I've definitely personally had face cranks. Not necessarily they were looking for the face crank, but they cranked the face, and it's not something that I'm not tapping to. I'm gonna tap to that shit. I ain't letting, especially in training, man. I ain't letting you break my jaw in training, but.
No, yeah, Chimaev.
But just keeping that open. If they fought again tomorrow, we might see a different fight.
I don't think so. As much as I wanted to be, and I said it. We did the preview, and I was like, I'm really hoping I'm wrong.
But you know what it is with Chimaev. Look at Chimaev's fight with Durinho. Durinho is not better than Whittaker, but he made it past the storm.
No, but what we gotta do, what we also gotta think is, Whittaker. This is his, I don't know, umpteenth fight.
He's still young though.
There's
youngish. With 36 on it there.
Well, yeah, of course. When it comes to being a human, he's young. Now, when it comes to fighting, he is a little older because he's fought a lot. He's got a lot of wheels on him, right?
He's fought hard fights.
And
look at his last fight. I mean, he made it look fucking beautiful.
Yeah, because that guy's just not on his level.
Because he was not really in that much danger most of the time. He did have his back taken, but this is somebody I think that can survive with his back taken. I think he has all the skills. He's fighting certain things. He would have taken some damage there. He would have taken some punches, but I think he could have survived that. I think he definitely could have survived that. I think that he was probably, if we watch back that particular transition there, he was probably moving. They're turning, they're spinning to, he's trying to defend the back, and he's trying to get the back.
Exactly.
And then he gets the arm around, and I think it probably yanked his jaw in a way.
When you bring up the Burns fight, also what we got to keep in mind, there's a point in time where elite fighters they just stop getting better, right? You get as good as you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chimaev had not reached that point at the Burns fight. Chimaev was still a young up and comer prospect, getting better, trying to get to championship level, and trying to get to championship level, and you can see he's getting better.
Yeah.
And Whittaker, he's a walking Hall of Famer. Like he was already champion. He already fought the best. He's probably not getting any better now because he already reached his peak. That's by no means an insult to him. What I mean is that it's just evolution, right? Eventually you got to start coming down from that mountain, and there's a guy going up, and I think that's what we saw today.
I think the only issue with that though is Chad Mendes McGregor, Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo, two people that beat Chad Mendes. That Chad Mendes was controlling, like almost the whole fight. He was beating them majority of the fight, and then gets caught. And I think that's the thing.
More than getting caught, Chad Mendes had cardio issues.
Huh?
More than that, Chad Mendes had cardio.
No,
he got dead tired in the McGregor fight.
Well, Jose Aldo was getting back up and spin around, hit him with the knee, and knocked him out. It's shit that happens like that, transitions that it's fight sequences
that fight was
and things that happen. Yeah, it was, dude. That was a explosive fight. He jumped over the cage, goes in the crowd. McGregor got pretty battered in that fight.
Yeah,
but gets up, catches him with a left hand or something, and then just puts him out, and walks off into the night. It's like, bro, these things happen, and I think something like that, obviously, very one-sided. Chimaev ran through him, but I think the ending sequence. I think sometimes your body just betrays you. I think his body betrayed him there. And, another 30 seconds, maybe he would have gotten the choke. And then we could say, all right, he would have killed him. That's different. You know what I mean? I think a choke is one of those things where it's like, if you don't defend the choke and you tap, it's because he would have killed you if you did not tap.
It was like a panic tap, too.
It was before he even really got the squeeze on. His jaw was dislocated. So that's what I'm saying. I think it definitely not call for a rematch because it was very, very one-sided. But to see them fight again after Whittaker works his way back up again,
that was my next question. What's next for Whittaker?
Anybody, dude. He just won off a knockout. He had an injury. So say if he threw a kick like McGregor and broke his shin, we would say, you know what? When his shin's worked out again, put him back at the top. He's still at the top. I don't see him coming down because he went through the same thing that everybody goes through with Chimaev, which is getting out wrestled.
Look, the fight that makes sense is, let's say Duplessis wins, right? He beats Strickland. Him and Strickland makes sense. However, you also got to look at the mindset of these guys. Look, Whittaker can do whatever he wants. He deserves to do whatever he wants. If he wants to keep fighting, I will never tell him to stop.
Burns, where's Burns?
The division lower.
He went to 70?
He's always been at 70. He's been at 155 and went up to 70.
Oh, so he fought Chimaev at 170.
Yes.
Okay.
What you call it? So, look, Whittaker can do whatever he wants. So if Whittaker decides to keep fighting, I'm gonna watch because I love Robert Whittaker. And him and Sean Strickland is a hell of a fight.
That's a fantastic fight.
Yeah, that's a hell of a fight.
And it keeps you at the top, and then you can get your chance back at Chimaev right after that.
I don't think that's happening, to be honest. He can.
But why not? I mean, they're going to be right here.
Because
Chimaev, either right here, champ, Chimaev, and then you have Strickland.
Yeah, we got to look at it as the business-wise, too. Like, business-wise, I don't think Dana White... again, no disrespect to Robert Whittaker. I would never do that. But saying Whittaker already lost to the champion, he's probably going to lose to the champion.
But if he were to beat Strickland, which I think is very fucking possible.
Yeah, he can.
Very possible. He's got more tools than Strickland. Doesn't mean he beats Strickland.
It's an even fight. No, it's a good fight.
Strickland's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
Strickland's just, he's like a one-trick pony with every defense. No, he has every defense.
But my point is that he lost to Chimaev now, which, like, say Chimaev becomes a champion.
Oh, I agree. He's not gonna get it.
He lost
one fight and then next again, but
he lost to Duplessis and he lost to Adesanya.
Which is completely not out of the question. Duplessis beats Chimaev.
Okay.
So Strickland loses Duplessis, which is definitely up in there. It's 50-50. Yeah. I had Strickland
very possibly
on that fight.
I had Strickland.
Second time I watched it, I had Duplessis. So very, very close fight.
Yeah.
But let's say this one, Strickland loses.
Mm-hmm.
Chimaev goes up, fights Duplessis, loses. Then
Okay.
Strickland fights Whittaker and
Whittaker
loses,
wins.
and Whittaker wins. Do they not fight him again? Why the fuck not?
I don't think they do, but I guess so.
Well, you probably say it takes Strickland to fight Duplessis again.
No,
and then Chimaev has to fight Whittaker again.
At that point, honestly, we're talking
probably bringing in new fighters.
By that point, yes, exactly. By that point, maybe Bo Nichols up there.
But a couple wins from any of these guys puts them in their face again.
But I'm talking, it's a couple wins. We're talking about a year, and they're not gonna get any younger.
It's not gonna be in 2025.
They're not getting any younger either. Is what I'm saying. Is like they have a lot of miles on them.
Maybe the end of 2025, we could possibly see a rematch. Not that I'm calling for a rematch, but I don't think it's something that shouldn't happen. I think it's something that could happen. Should it happen? Depending on where they go. Does Robert Whittaker, decline, or does Robert Whittaker say, I had a problem with my jaw. It happened. He was controlling me, but I was never in danger. He didn't hit me. I didn't really have any injuries, other than my jaw. I think there's a call for this fight if I'm winning. If I'm losing, obviously nobody should be fighting Chimaev off of a loss.
I want you to be right, but unfortunately, I believe, it's my opinion, that we just saw the end of Robert Whittaker as a contender. He can do whatever he wants with his career because he is a walking Hall of Famer.
I don't necessarily disagree because, he's had a lot of opportunities in the recent time. I just don't count it out because he is such a gamer. He is so skilled. But I would say I would bet against it. I would bet against it being a progression. Like if I was betting Whittaker will fight for the belt again. No, I wouldn't bet that he.
And I say this too. Again. I think we saw the end of Adesanya as a contender. I think those two. That's why I meant. I think the UFC's in a little bit of trouble when it comes to building stars, because I feel like we lost two today, and as contenders, not as their careers over, they can do whatever they want. But as contenders, I think we saw the end of two stars as contenders.
Well, that being said. So that being said, our main event, Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria.
No.
Honestly, fantastic fight though. We did get 2.5.
It was looking good too.
We got 2.5 rounds out of it, as we expected. After actually kind of contrary to what we expected. I guess we needed another round. But I would say, later rounds would go to Max. Max actually had the earlier rounds. I think he had round 1 and 2 in my scorecards. Round 3 was a fatal ending. Topuria he has the nuclear option, and he
I'm
landed
trying
that.
To find the scorecards.
He landed that punch, got that knockout. But to your point, I don't think we necessarily lost a contender out of Holloway. Holloway might need to go to 155 though. I think it's time for him to make a little bit of a step up.
Actually, I didn't think of that.
I think
if it makes you feel any better, Max was not winning in the cards.
He wasn't?
No. The first two judges gave 10-9, 10-9 to Topuria. The second I have no problem with. The first I think Max got.
I don't see how Topuria got either of those rounds on it. Well, the second one, I was saying that I had him at the beginning of the round, but at the end of the round I had Max. So.
So that makes sense.
So So 10.
I think the first
10-9?
round.
Oh, you're saying 1-1?
Yeah, it was 10-9 and 10-9.
Oh, okay. So two judges had 1-1.
No. 2 judges had 2-0 at the time.
Oh,
and no, one judge had 1-1.
That's crazy.
One judge had a 1-1.
That one judge is the only one who's competent. The other ones need to get fired. But at the end of the day, Topuria didn't leave it to the judges. So
yeah, exactly.
Like I said, very, very skilled, athletic human being, and we knew he was dangerous, and he was the favorite. Obviously, everybody knows he's dangerous.
That division's in good hands, though. I'll tell you
Huh?
That division's in good hands.
Oh yeah.
It's the opposite of the division we were just talking about.
Yeah, but no, I don't think Max is out of there by any means. I think he's one of those guys that he's still going to compete at 145, but I think at 155 he proved to have more power, dude. Put some power in this guy who lands really well. He's got a chin. Did he get knocked out? Yes, he didn't get a real bad knockout. He got dropped. He
Pretty
lost.
bad.
Huh?
It's pretty bad.
I mean, it's not a head kick.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's not a head
It could
kick.
be worse. Yeah, it
you
could be
didn't
worse.
fall forward.
Yeah.
Look at Justin Gaethje. Is Justin Gaethje gonna fight again? He fell forward.
Yeah,
Falling forward's bad.
Pretty bad.
So falling over your toes is like you're gonna be out for a year. But that being said, I think Holloway looks great at 155. 155 could definitely use it. Now that being said, the champion at 155 is a fucking murderer. But well, that's something for way far from now right now. But that being said, how about our champion, Ilia Topuria?
What I want to talk about Max Holloway a little bit. Like,
Okay.
I want to look, man. I understand that. I don't know why. We're just fans of this. I don't know Max Holloway. I don't know Robert Whittaker, and it's more of being sad that your team lost. This one hurts.
Oh yeah.
It hurts, man. And like I said it in the preview. I think Topuria wins. But I expected Max to get outclassed, or not outclassed, outboxed, and he did not. It was evenly.
Boxed by any means.
And it was even. I did not expect him to get knocked out. And I did say if anybody can knock him out, it's this guy. Now, I to me the fight was looking good. Like, I think that Topuria was worrying it a little bit. I think that he was slowing down a little bit. I think that Max was setting a pace. I think Max ate a couple of the punches. I was like, okay, so he could take the punch. And then he just caught him. He caught him coming in. He caught him clean, straight right hand, and then a perfect left hook. And it hurts, man. I don't know why it hurts. It hurts to see Whittaker and Max go down like that. It just hurts. And nothing against Topuria, because like I said, in 8 years, I'll probably feel this way about him. Because somebody in 8 years might come and beat him like this. And that day is going to hurt for him. But today's like the passing of the torch. And, in basketball, it's like, oh, somebody beats your team. In soccer, somebody beats your team. In this sport, somebody knocks out your favorite guy. Or breaks his jaw with a neck crack. Like, so.
Yeah.
It sucks a little bit. But yeah, now to Topuria. Okay, so Topuria, stud. Stud. And we talked about that. I don't think Volkanovski can beat him, without due respect.
I think Volkanovski.
You think he beats him?
Better. Yeah, I think he's got way more tools than him. He's strong. I think the issue with Volkanovski though is that he has to be
perfect.
He has to be in punching range because of his stature, his size. He has to be in punching range, so he has to be on. His confidence has to be there. He has to feel like the champ that he is, and he came off of 2 knockout losses, and he's going to go into this, and he has to trust his chin because he has to get in there. He's a good leg kicker. He's very good at punches. He's got a good chin. He's a good wrestler. He's good everywhere. The issue is just that there is no punching without getting punched in his stature. He has to be there to get punched. So, he has to trust himself. And, it's hard to trust yourself when you've been dropped twice. And that, to that point, same thing with Holloway, whether he goes to 45 or goes to 55 or stays at 45. He's now been able to rely on his chin.
That's gone
and
for now.
Yeah. Now he's going to have to say, fuck, I don't know about my chin.
Exactly.
Like, I just got dropped. And it's like, yeah, you got dropped by this guy, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But the idea is, it's you don't have a choice to whether you trust your chin anymore or not. So to me, it's like that's a big factor in terms of whether or not these guys.
I think this is a perfect example of what we just spoke about. There's a mountain, and you got to go up it, and when you go up, eventually you got to come down. And I think this is a case where Volkanovski, his credentials are not questioned in the least bit. He is solidified as what he is, a GOAT in that division. Now, I think this is one of those examples where, he got to the top of the mountain and he's slowly coming down. Not that he's rolling down or falling off a cliff. He's just making the trip that everybody makes. And this guy's on his way up. And he's just getting better and better. And he just fought 2 of the GOATs and beat them. He beat them decisively. And I think if he fights, which he probably will fight Volkanovski again, I think he beats him
Well,
again.
he already accepted that.
Yeah.
So assuming that
I really do think he beats him again. And honestly, I think the question is,
he's definitely gonna be the favorite.
Yes. And I think the question is now Diego Lopez.
That,
Diego Lopez is on the same trajectory on that mountain.
Oh,
He's on his way up.
I like Diego, so I think Diego's got basically anybody he fights. I would say he's definitely not as clean as Topuria in the striking department.
No.
But he's a scrambler. He's a warrior. He's
he's got that Mexican chin too.
Which they both have that scramble in them. I don't know. I definitely like that fight. I like Diego for that fight. Obviously, I would put the boxing for Topuria on that, but again, this is an MMA fight, and fighters become champions. So
right now, there's nobody I wouldn't have Topuria favored against. And now the thing is, he has wrestlers coming. If he gets past Volkanovski, because I'll never count out Volkanovski. I'm not gonna say, oh, he's gonna beat Volkanovski. Look, if he does beat Volkanovski, there's one of these three guys is coming. It's either gonna be Diego Lopez, it's either gonna be Aljamain Sterling, or Eliov. And those are three wrestlers, jiu-jitsu wrestler guys, right? They say he's a killer in jiu-jitsu. We're gonna find out soon, because that's what's coming next. It's three ground guys. So,
well, I think it'd probably be, which I mean, I would put a big doubt that it's going to happen, but I think it would be beneficial for Volkanovski to probably go train with, say, Islam or something like that. Go to AKA. Go with some of these guys that are going to just kind of fuck with your game.
You're not wrong, but that goes back to the point of there's a point where a tiger has the stripes and they ain't changing.
And I don't know. I mean, look at Sean Strickland and look at and Alex Pereira. They've both been out there doing things, the way that they do them, but with new visions. It's kind of like, all right, I see how Alex knocks people out. I see how Alex knocked me out. I see what I did wrong. I see, and he's gone out there and
Alex Volkanovski is 36 years old.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's already a good wrestler. So you go with one of these great wrestlers and see how they think. See how they set things up. What is it that they're doing against your striking? What is it that got you caught with Islam? What got you caught with Topuria? How do they see what got you caught? Because you've been with whatever Behrman the whole time, and he says this is why you got caught. This is what you did wrong. What does somebody else think you did wrong? Maybe he's saying you did this wrong because you got to the cage and you went left instead of going right. Maybe Islam's like, you fucked up because you took a right step right here and then he hit you and you got pushed to the cage. So it's like maybe they're taking it a couple steps back. Like, why did you ever get to the cage? So not that I remember the sequence or anything, but just in terms of the fights, you know what I'm saying?
No, but what fight?
Just like the sequence in which Alex got knocked out by either Islam or
they're both similar. He has trouble against the cage.
Well, of course they're gonna push him against the cage because he's a footwork guy.
Yeah,
that's how you stop footwork guys. That's where Adesanya got knocked out.
Every single one of Topuria's knockouts is against the cage.
That's where Kamaru got knocked out. That's where Dominic got knocked out. People that use footwork, that move around, that what do? You get them against the cage, put them against the wall, and now they only got left or right. They don't got back. They don't got forward. They only got left and right. Yeah. So that's kind of the whole mindset there. So I think they would definitely benefit from bringing in some different mindsets.
Ilia Topuria has a fan in me.
Oh, I mean he's fantastic, dude. I thought he was fantastic before this. Wasn't really knowledgeable about all his fights, but he withstood the storm that is Max Holloway. He took punches. I think he probably got hurt here and there, and
that's why I respect him so much. Saying that I don't think anybody's favored against him. Why? Because I expected to see a little bit of drop off from Max, and I didn't see it. Max looked great.
Fantastic.
And I said it in the preview. This guy may be that damn good, and I think he is. I think Topuria is that damn good.
But they were saying he possibly is the best athlete in the UFC. I mean, I don't know what they're.
I don't know what they're basing it off of either, but
because he's not doing anything like super athletic. But I think
yes, you're right. He's just incredibly technical, and he's got power to. He's got power. Look, man, he may be that damn good. I'm a fan of Ilia Topuria's, and he's got the swagger. I don't think he'll be Conor McGregor. The people want to create the next Conor McGregor. I think the closest thing to that was Sean O'Malley, and that didn't seem like it worked out. But
I mean, again, Sean O'Malley got wrestled.
Yeah.
Put Merab against fucking Topuria.
No, and look,
Merab has a chance against Topuria.
No, but I'll say this: to me, that Conor McGregor, as good as Conor McGregor was, he ran into a lot of luck, a lot of it. Everybody needs it. Yeah.
Chad Mendes. I consider that a lot of luck.
Forget the Chad Mendes thing. The Jose Aldo finish like that.
Had it passed that moment, Jose Aldo's gonna be a problem.
Exactly. It would have been
never fought him again.
I wouldn't. We talked about the Canelo versus. I ain't getting in there again. I got in there once. I did my job. I'm not getting in there again. Like,
give me someone new.
Yeah. No, look, man. To become Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, of course you need to fight and you need to have skill, which they had. I'm not saying they didn't, but you need to run across some luck. You need to timing, all of that. That matters, and that's why. For example, if I'm not saying I didn't say it to knock on Sean O'Malley, I just said it because it's like he didn't have that luck, right? He had to run across a wrestler. He couldn't. Imagine if
well, he beat a wrestler to win the belt. He beat.
But what I'm saying is, like, say Merab would have ran into a piston of those, right? Then he would have got that. I don't want to say lucky punch. It's just the way it works out. It's fighting, right? So anything can happen.
Though I would say Sean O'Malley's a better striker than Max. So I mean that would have been a fun fight. He's not as big, but. The weight class difference is so small. I think Sean could knock out anybody at 145. I think with striking, the wrestling becomes a little harder because these guys are even stronger than Merab at 135.
Exactly.
Of course, I think Merab would probably beat Topuria.
They would never fight, but maybe.
Why not?
They're like the best of friends.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're both from Georgia.
Oh, okay.
They're like the best of friends.
Okay, I didn't know that. But I mean, who would you have in that fight, Merab Topuria?
Again, this is off of hearsay, but they say that this Topuria guy's an incredible wrestler. So
really?
That's what they say.
I mean, if you're best friends with Merab, but
maybe I don't know, but
look, I mean, if they're best friends,
I would always go with the wrestler.
He probably works.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, he didn't look like the greatest wrestler in that one sequence versus Max, right? He looked like a good wrestler. Yeah, great shot.
He didn't hold him down.
Couldn't hold him down. And remember, I told you as soon as he got him down, I'm like, I could just see it. It's not gonna.
He's gonna stand up.
He's gonna stand up. But I don't know, man. Like I don't really think about that fight because it will never happen. But
Sean O'Malley was calling it for Topuria, which
a lot of us were. I did too. I didn't want it to be true, but.
Well, because I think we were also high on the Max after Max knocking out Gaethje.
No, honestly, I thought
in retrospect, Max should have fought fucking Islam. I told you.
I
told you should have fought Islam. He was on a high. He was going for another belt instead of the same belt. I think he would have had a different.
That one's still there. Honestly, that one's still there. If Max goes up and has a big win at 155 versus I don't know Charles Oliveira or somebody like that, or even who wouldn't watch Michael Chandler versus Max Holloway?
I think Max is going to move up.
Yeah, I think he has to.
Well,
there's no point in staying at 145. He's not getting another title shot.
Yeah, maybe if you get the belt, then you can go back down.
No, you don't go back.
Wait.
There's no point. Yeah, you can, but there's no point.
Well, he can't go to 170. So
no, I mean just stay at 155. You don't gotta keep moving.
If he wants to do the double champ thing,
No, I think that's not in the cards for him.
It's not. But I mean, it's not really in the cards for anybody unless like you're already right there at the pinnacle where it's like next fight you fight this guy, and if you win, you are the double.
I think
champ.
He has to establish himself at 155 now.
Oh, I mean, obviously, that's what I'm saying. He needs to go to 155, beat some guys, and they're gonna throw you to the top 10 right away.
Absolutely,
go fight some top 10 guys. 155.
But my point is, never go back to 145. Like you're done there. You were one of the goats there. There's no need to. There's nothing to prove. There's nothing to prove for him.
He already gets paid enough. I don't think there's much. He's already big dick status.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who he is. He doesn't have a reason to. But if he wanted to, I think it's there. If he has the 155 belt, he can do whatever he wants. I don't see him wanting to do it, but he could. He goes to 155, he could fight Conor again.
I don't think Conor's ever fighting 155 again.
He can absolutely. He's not that big.
He's huge, man.
He's big. Like, he's 190 right now. But 190 to 155?
Look,
Khabib walked around.
I just want to see Conor fight.
Khabib walked around 200 pounds.
I just want to see Conor fight. I'm telling you, I'm tired of this.
He's only got a couple more, but he's going to. He's going to box.
You know who look, I'm calling it right now. Dan Hooker, Max Holloway. I'm calling it right now.
That's fantastic.
Dan Hooker, Max Holloway.
That's tough.
And I'll even do it for the BMF.
That's tough for Max. Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker, Max Holloway.
Motherfucker, dude. Or especially Dan Hooker today.
I was calling for Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje. Either one. You give me Dan Hooker, Max Holloway, Dan Hooker, Justin Gaethje, I'm watching all day. And that's all I'm looking for. And yeah, Max Holloway can go up there and fight somebody, man.
He's got all the options.
Yeah.
He's got options. I was like, don't you take your fucking gloves off, dude. It's your first knockout.
No, he's not. He can't retire yet. But, man, sad day. Sad day.
He looked great. He got caught. This guy can probably knock out anybody at 170, 155, and anything below him.
Sad day for us here at the Red Combat. Still love Robert Whittaker. Still love Max Holloway. There's all the respect in the world for Khamzat Chimaev. All the respect in the world for Ilia Topuria. We saw the preview. I'm sorry, the montage for John Jones versus Stipe. We will be here previewing that. We will be here watching it. We will give you a post-fight. Thank you to Matthew. He'll be here for that probably, right?
I believe so.
Yes, and thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. See you next time. Peace.